we are going to learn strings now. So we have already seen what are the list. Let's have an example once again. What are the list? Suppose I write a is equal to in square bracket 23, 56, some numbers. Let us say some numbers. Okay, and if I type print of a, what I'll get is a list. Type of a. So it is a list. Same way, now if I change this and let us say I'm writing my name here, Jignesh, and if I check the type of this variable, that would be a string. So whatever is inside a single quote or double quote is treated as a string in Python. Now what are the strings? Strings are basically series with some characters inside. So this is a series of characters, like this is first character, this second character, third, fourth, and so on and so forth. So strings are basically sequences with a character. Okay, so this is again one more example. Now you can also access a part of string using indexation as we have done with the list. Suppose I'm writing print, let me remove this. I'm writing print a, in square bracket I'm writing 2. So what this instruction will do, so list have indexation, same way here string have indexation. So here the indexation is same as this. This is my first character, that would be the index at position 0, or you can say 0th position, first position and second position. So if I run this command, I'll print a G. Okay, let's run this command, and now you can see a G is printed over here. So I can access part of a string as same I have done in the list, same way I can do it with strings. Even slicing is possible. How to slice that? That means I can use a series of character using slicing. So if I write 2 and 4, what it will do is it will start printing from this point, or it will get me this second character, third character, and fourth. But as we know, if I do slice, always this part, the end part is always excluded from the slicing. So I will get G and N printed on the screen. Let us see an example. Okay, so this is the example. Now if I do without start, what I'll get is I'll have a starting position up to fourth position. So I'll get this 4 letter printed, and this E, actually this is the fourth index, but it would be discarded. Okay, let's run this program and see. So I get JIGN. Negative indexation is also possible. Suppose I write -2, I'll get S. Okay, and if I write like 3 -3 -2, or let us say -5 to -2, what I'll get is G N and E. So I'll get G N E. Now -2, this is the end of the slice, so it is always excluded. Though you are using a negative index and you see like 2 is here, 5 is here, end is here, actually it will start from this position. This is the start position and this is the end position. So always end part is excluded. That's why we do not have this S. But if I write print a -2, then I'll print S, because here I am only slicing a single character. That's why. Okay, so this is an example of strings and how you can use part of strings. So here the same example is given one more time. These are the indexations. This is the same example with negative indexation with negative example. We have already seen this. Now the next part is what if I want to process some data using strings, like I want to process some task on the string. What should I do? So a string has various methods and various functions that can be run on string. For an example, string length, I can find out the length of the string. How to do that? Like for in this example, if I write length of A. What I'm doing here is printing length of A. If you do not understand this, I can have a better example. This length is equal to ln of A. So here the length of A would be found out and it would be stored in this variable length. Then I'm printing the length variable. So here now you can see 7 is printed here. So this is how a length command works. Same command we have seen in the list, same way the command works with the string, but the only difference is you cannot have a string inside string. You can have a list inside the nested list. It is possible, but with string it is not possible. You have a single string. So this is how you can find out the length of string. Main thing is strings are immutable. What does that mean? Let's have an example. Suppose I have a list. Let us say A is equal to some numbers, some random numbers. I'm putting some random numbers. Okay. Now this is a list. If I print A, I'll get A printed. 23, 45, 234 and 53. Okay. Now suppose I want to change an element inside this list. What I can do is I'll directly point out at which point which element I want to remove, or rather remove, modify. Suppose I want to replace this 45 with some other number, so I have to identify the index. So this is 0th position, this is first position, so I write A1 is equal to, and I'll put my new value. Let us say 56 is the new value, so I'll put 56 and I'm going to print A again. What this will do is it will actually replace the 45 with 56. So this list are mutable, that means I can modify existing list, but with strings it is not possible. Let's have a continuous example. Let us have B which contains Charusat. Now suppose let's print B first. Now suppose I want to replace this C with some other character. Let us say B is equal to, B0. This is 0th position, so I will write B0 is equal to, let us say, some random X. Okay, and now I try to print B. Okay, let's run this code and see what happens. Okay, now you can here see a traceback has created where on line 8. So if you look at the line 8, it is probably this line. What is the traceback? Type error, string object does not support item assignment. That means you cannot modify existing string. So if you want to modify this string, you have to replace the whole string. How can I do that? It is very easy. We have already done that. I can replace it by writing is equal to, let us say I want to replace it. It is possible. Replacing is possible, but I cannot modify existing string. That means if I want to change only a character inside the string, it is not possible. But if I want to assign a new value to same variable that contains that string, it is possible. What I have used there is assignment operator. First I have assigned this Charota string to B, and later on I have assigned Jignesh string to the B. So it is possible. So in this way strings are immutable. Here one more example is that it is not possible to modify. Now there are also possible a multi-line string. What is a multi-line string? Multi-line strings are the strings. Multi-line strings are the strings like you want to write a paragraph. Okay, let's have an example. I am writing A. I'm starting string. I am Jignesh. Okay. Whenever I press enter to write a new line, I'll get this kind of error. So to type a multi-line string, what you have to do is you have to go with triple quote. I am Jignesh, and then if I write something, it will get, and I have to end it with triple quote. Okay. Now when I print A, sorry, capital A, it will get me this A. Okay, now here you can see this slash n. I have never written a slash n over here, like before A and after H, before A. You can see this slash n. Same way, there is one more here, one more here. So what are the slash n's? Slash n's are basically a hidden character that is hidden here. Whenever you press enter, a hidden character, a new line character is presented at this location that is not visible, but it is always there. And whenever I print this, I'll get it printed along with that. So here I haven't printed it, I have just checked the value of A. But if I print A, I will not get that hidden character, but what I will get is actually formatted string. So keep that in mind. So here this is an example of multi-line string. Either a triple single quote or triple double quote will work. Now we'll discuss in more detail how to work on string. What are the various operations that you can do with these strings? Suppose let us have an example. I have a string. Suppose I have a string. Let us say A is equal to department. Suppose this is my string. I want to do various tasks. Let's have a longer string. Let me have a whole name of the department. M and V Patel, Department of Electrical Engineering. Suppose this is my string. MNV Patel, Department of Electrical Engineering. Your strings can have white spaces. It is possible. You can have a white space inside your string. So I can do various things on this string. How to do that? Using a method. Suppose you want to split the string. So you can use a split command. Split command removes any white space from the beginning and the end. Let me run that command and I'll show you what does it mean. So print A. Let us print A first. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is A dot split. This is how you run a method. Variable name followed by a method followed by a bracket. This bracket can be empty. It can have some values. It can have some arguments. It is possible to have that. But whenever you run a method on a string, it will actually modify this thing. Okay. So sorry, it wasn't a split, it was strip, and I have splitted it instantly. Nothing to worry. What I have done here is a split command. That was a strip, but I have accidentally write a split. So strip command and split command are different commands. Let's have an example of split command first. Strip command first. Strip command. Okay, strip. This is the command. strip. So A dot strip. So it will remove any white space from beginning and end. So here I do not have any white space. White space are generally, if a white space is present at end and beginning, like here or here, then and then, it would be removed. Any space in between two characters won't be removed. Like this is a white space again. This is a space, but it is between two characters, so it won't remove that. Let's have a better example. What I'll do is I'll put some 2-3 spaces over here. Okay, and then I'll run this command A dot strip. So here now you can see there were 3 white spaces presented here, but it has removed that spaces. So this is a strip command. Same way, to convert a string in lower or uppercase, you can use a lower method or upper method. Like if I write A dot lower, then it will give me a string with each and every character converted to lowercase. Initially we have uppercase, now I have a lowercase. If any presented with uppercase, it would be converted in lower, like P, D, E. Now here you can see again there is a white space present. Why it is so? We have just removed that. So using a method, whenever you use method, it will give you a value, but it won't modify the actual value. So this is the actual value. So it is not going to modify the this value. So still A is still MNV Patel Department of Education. See, I have run the lower command, then also the value remains same. It won't change the value, it won't affect the value. But what it will do is actually return me some value. So if I want to store this value, I can store it somewhere. Like I can store value in some other variable like a dot lower. So now B contains the converted value. Okay, I can again run this command on itself and I can remove the white space. So now if you see B, now it is modified. Why this is modified? Because I have assigned the value directly to B again. That's why it has the updated value. Otherwise here this value won't be stored to A. This is just a pop-up value. You get that value, but it is not stored anywhere. This is just a pop-up value. Okay. So strip command, lower command. Same way I have upper to convert this string in the uppercase, like hello Python is the small letter, the ELLO is in small letter and it is converted in upper letter. Same way here I have this replace method which will replace something with something. Let's have an example. Here let us say I want to replace something. Let's have a blank window. Suppose I have some value, let us say Jignesh, or let us say some XYZ value. Let us write some logical thing like hello Python. Okay, so this is my string. Now I want to modify a part of string. Is it possible? It is not possible directly. Like we have seen it, it is not mutable. But what I can do is I can replace part of some values and I can have that value as a pop-up value and I can store it in some other variable. How to do that? I have to use a replace method. So a dot replace. Okay, now what I have to do is here you can see it is having parameters to pass on, old parameter and new parameter. So let us have a parameter. Let's say I want to switch over my h with j. So what this command will do, if any h is presented in this string, it will replace it with j. So instead of this h, I'll get a j. Okay, I'll run this command. So it has gone a jello Python. Okay, now again if I print a, again what I got is hello Python. It has not modified, we are not modifying the a itself, we are not modifying a. What we are doing is we are having a method running on this variable and it is returning me this value. So this value is not stored inside a, keep that in mind. If you want to store this inside a, you have to write you have to use an assignment operator to do that. Then and then it is possible, otherwise you won't be able to store that value. Okay, so this is how it works. Let's have one more example. Let's have one more example. What is the that e we replace e with j. Okay, I'm going to run this code. So now you can see it has it hjllo Python. Okay, so whenever you run this command, it will replace part of the string wherever the whichever character you want to replace is presented at first position and the one with you want to replace is presented at second position. Let us try with o. So now you can see o, hello and Python, there are two o's in here. So it has printed 2j instead of o. So you can even replace this. Even you can replace a whole word. Like if I want to replace hello with hey, I can do that. So it will replace this. It must be matching, like if h is small and if h is small, if this h is small, then it won't replace it. Why? Because it should match exactly as this presented over here. If it is not matched, see, this is also color, this is also color, but it hasn't replaced it. Why? Because this h is small and this h is capital. So each and every character of the string has to match with argument, then and then it will replace, otherwise it won't replace. So you have to take care of that. Now there is a split command. What a split command will do, let's have an example of a split command. Suppose I have a string. This is my string. Now if I want each and every word separated from each other, I can do that using a strip command. What I have to do is I have split command. I have to use a split command, rather a split method. So if I write a dot split, what it will do by default, it will have all the spaces separated. So wherever there is a space, it would be separated, that word would be separated, and combinedly it will give me a list of that words. So here, this is my first word M, this is my second word, this is my third word, fourth word. So you can see M and V. Then I have Patel, this is one whole word, then followed by space. So here it would be splitted in two parts, department, then again it would be splitted from here, splitted from here. So each and every word is separated, and a list would be created with all that words. So here you can see it is returning me a small strings inside a list. So it is returning this list, but still your a is a single string. Again, this is a return value. It is not modifying the value itself, or it is not reassigning the value. Okay, so keep that in mind. So this is how you can split some strings. Now you want to split with some other thing, like you can do that a split, like whenever there is e, I want to split it. So now you can see wherever there is e, it would be splitted. So first split would be here. So up to this point, this is one word, M and V P A T, this is one word. Then e, here it is splitted. Then from starting from L up to D, then E is splitted. So I, this is L and this is space D. Then from here up to M, part M, NTO of EL. Again, this is a capital E, so it won't split from there. It will only split from small e's. So this is a example how you can split with some custom splits. So this is how a string works. There are a lot of methods, lot of other than this method also there are other methods as well. If you want to look at that method, you can search that methods, like string methods. There are a lot of methods. I'm not discussing each and every method here, but there are a lot of methods. Like you just Google it and you will get this methods. These all are the methods. These all are the methods. If you want some detail, like let's have a detail of there should be split. See, this is a split command. So you can open that up and you will see what this split method do, how to write it. There would be some examples as well. So I have covered very little bit on the different methods. There are a lot of methods. These all are the methods that can be operated on the string. Okay, so we are done with this string method. If you want some specific method, if you want to do some specific task, it is possible. A separate method is available in this string, for this string. Okay, now the next part is string concatenation. We have already discussed this, like how to concatenate. We know that using a plus operator or arithmetic plus operator, you can concatenate, provided that both the variables are of string type, or whatever is the on the first step and afterward the operator is of string type. If you have a two different type, then it will generate an error. For an example, here a is value, that is in string, b is 1 2 3, that is in integer, b is integer, a is string. So if I write print a plus b, this will generate a trace back. Why? Because the a is a string and b is integer. It will create a traceback. Can only concatenate string, not integer to string. Okay, so here you have to use a typecasting function. Like you can do a string of b and then concatenate it. And what would be the result? Result would be value 1 2 3. Keep that in mind whenever you use this concatenation operation. At that time, there won't be any space, white space in between two strings. Like hello Python, if I join them, there is no white space, no default space is added. If you want to add a space here, a space over here, what you have to do is you have to write a plus a space. See, this is a string, space string, plus b. Then it will concatenate this a with space and that with b. So hello space Python. This is how concatenation works. Then there is a format method. Now, why I'm discussing this method, it might be helpful at some point of time. So whenever you want to do this kind of thing, like you want a string with an integer, there is some number, like you are putting a total of something in string, like total equal to 1 2 3, you want to write that kind of thing, total equal to 1 2 3. What you will do, you have to do something like this, but in that case you have to typecast. So what you can do is directly you can insert a values in string itself using this format method. How to do that? So this is an example. Suppose this code is 283. So this is basically a string, variable, integer type variable, and text is equal to ee. There is this curly bracket followed by some string. So this is a string. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to print ee283 is subject in Python. Okay, and I'm not going to typecast this variable. I'm not going to typecast this variable and then print. I am going to directly insert this value over here. How to do that is using format method. The format method takes the passed argument, format them and place them in the string where the placeholders are. So these are the placeholders. So that means whenever I use a format, wherever you will see this, that are a placeholder. If I pass a value, it would be directly placed at this position at the placeholder. So what I have done is print text dot format, and then I have passed my argument code. So code is the argument. So whenever there is a placeholder, this value of this code, value of code is 283 would be placed. So what I'll get is ee placeholder. So instead of placeholder, we will print the value of code, that is 283. So it will print ee 283 is a subject on Python. You can see it here. One more example is this. Let's have some, we have some numbers, like we have quantity, price, item number, and then I want to print, like you are processing on some program which generates a bill or something like that. So here you can have a multiple placeholder as well. Like you can see, this is first, this second, this third. There are three placeholder in this single string. I want number of pieces of item for something dollars. Okay, so what I'll do is print my order dot format. Wherever a first placeholder is, I want to print a quantity. So the quantity is directly printed at first placed order. You have to be in sequence. If you mess up with this sequence, your answer would be messed up. So you have to make sure you write the sequence correctly. So wherever there is a quantity, it will directly inserted over here. So what is the quantity in this case is 3. So I want here it would be printed as a 3. Okay, then item, and there is a placeholder. So I'm inserting item number here, and third placeholder where I will insert a price. So whenever I run this code, if this values of these three items are changed, or numbers on in these three variables are changed, and you try to print this, it will have a new values or new sentence would be formed from this. Okay, so I want three pieces of item 564. Item 567 is the number for $49.95. Okay, so this is an example how you can use a format method.